It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
I believe it's going to be a good Tuesday, despite the fact that, to be honest, I did wake up on the wrong side of the bed today. But, it's already 4 p.m. Might as well make do with what I have of the day and try to see the bright side, the silver lining, try to be optimistic.
Honestly, I'm filled with so much inspiration. The Paralympics opening ceremony is happening right now as we speak. You can check it out on YouTube. My sister...
Actually, no, I'm sorry. Do not check that out on YouTube.
Check us on YouTube.
Check us on YouTube. Mikhail, I'm sorry.
Watch it later.
Mikhail, watch it later.
I just want to give a shout out to my sister, Hedda.
Definitely.
She's right there right now, holding the cameras. I'm seeing all the Paralympic athletes coming in. UAE has a really big team this year, and I wish them
proud of them.
all the best. This is so much is happening, and I just wanted to give it a little shout out.
It is what they deserve, and they deserve so much more. We are with the team, the UAE's team, the Paralympics. We wish them well, and I know they're gonna keep our heads up high. As for today on the Afternoon Karak, aka the Magic Hour, we're gonna be talking about several things, kicking it off with a review. We watched The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf. It's sort of a prequel to The Witcher. It tells us the story of Vesemir, who is Geralt's sort of mentor, the guy who made him who he is. We're also going to be talking about Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, because we did get some stills and pictures, a good look into the characters, and of course, guys, the pièce de résistance. Well, I don't know how to say it. The pièce de résistance.
Yes.
My French is very mediocre. I apologize.
Better than mine, so.
Honestly, I apologize to my French teacher, Madame Fanny. She tried her best, and this is all that's coming out of me. But the most exciting part of the day, besides the review, it is that Spider-Man trailer, which I did not watch for obvious reasons. It is 2 minutes long, but the rumors have been finally confirmed. Yes. We finally know exactly, or at least some people who are going to be reprising their roles in this new multiverse.
You know what my friend did? He messaged me earlier today, and he's like, Mikey, it's pizza time.
It definitely
I was
is
like,
pizza time.
okay, I think I know what you're trying to say there.
I am so excited for this movie. It is going to be insane and crazy, but we do have 2 MCU movies before that. We have Shang-Chi and also have The Eternals.
Also, if Aisha's radio presenting career doesn't work out, she can become an esport athlete for Stardew Valley.
Yes, my dreams are coming true. The farming simulation that is Stardew Valley apparently is an esports. Now, there is a competition happening, and even though I've only played that game for like 30 seconds as a farming simulation game connoisseur, I think I can do pretty well in that game. These are just some of the things we're going to be talking about today on the Afternoon Karak, so join the conversation. Text us 4215 which salat or do. Again, we're going to kick off the hour with the review of The Witcher, Blood's Nightmare of the Wolf, coming up next right here on Pulse 95.
Is it an epic or epic failure? The Big Review. Movies, games, and TV in focus.
Pulse 95.
Time for some Witcher talk. As just yesterday, Netflix released its first origin story, like a prequel, based on the character Vesemir. If anybody has been paying attention to the first season of The Witcher, who's played the game, Vesemir is Geralt's mentor, almost like father figure. And so in this animated feature film, we get to see sort of like an origin story when Vesemir was a kid all the way till he became a veteran, like a well-seasoned Witcher. We learn a lot about the world of the Witchers, and even almost like the golden ages and even the fall of the Witcher. And this is such a interesting insight into the world, and in a way it's preparing us for season 2.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the most surprising thing about this movie is the cast itself. Do you know that Theo James plays Vesemir? Do you remember Theo James? He's the guy, he's a well-known actor. If you look him up, if you see his picture, you know him very well. Same goes for Declan, Graham McTavish, a well-known, well-seasoned actor as well. Lara Pulver as well. So this is where we see getting big names who know how to voice act does the job very well, unlike other movies such as when we negatively criticize Zendaya as Lola Bunny, and also the cast of Scoob, which was very, very disappointing. So at least we've got that. It's a very big change, but it's a good change. I mean, sometimes big names are good, again, if they are good at what they're doing. Voice acting is a form of acting, but it's very, very different sometimes than acting itself, as you need to show your entire emotions and characteristics through your voice only, which can prove to be quite difficult. Now, the movie itself, which I initially thought was going to be a series when it was first announced.
My friends thought the same thing.
I think a lot of us were very surprised about that. It made more sense to make it into a series. And I think I see that because there were some parts that were kind of rushed throughout the movie. Yes, it explained a lot of things. It tried to put in as much information as it could in 1 hour, 20 minutes. But perhaps the 1 hour, 20-minute mark might be too short. And had they made it a series, that would have served the show better. Basically, the premise or the plot better.
I think I agree with you on that matter because they almost like briefly brush on some of the aspects of what it takes to be a Witcher in terms of when they pick the orphan characters, the law of surprise, as well as even the brutal training that goes into being a Witcher. And it's I'll say for how short it was, I was surprised at how unforgiving it is. Like, there's a lot of violence in this movie.
When I saw 18 plus, I was like, okay, question mark. I mean, it's The Witcher. Maybe there were some indecent scenes, but no, it wasn't the scene. There was barely anything. It was mostly about the violence and the blood. And honestly, again, Michaela and I always support those kind of decisions if it works within the plot. If it's just unnecessary violence and blood, it makes no sense. But here they're trying to highlight how difficult it is living in that world. That's one. Two, and becoming a Witcher is not something easy as well. You see a lot of things that you wish you never saw, so I'm glad they highlighted it, and they did it quite well. But let's go back about the rushed parts. I do not want to ruin it, but there was the part, perhaps I'd say in the last quarter of the movie, during the right before the big battle, there was something that was just completely quickly brushed over, and I did not enjoy that. I think that, again, yes, we're used to very long movies. I know that. And I also appreciate when a movie is short and precise. But perhaps because they're trying to take a big character and try to shove everything about that person, or at least that period, into a 1 hour, 20-minute movie, perhaps was not that smart of an idea. And also, perhaps they wanted to show how quickly one decision can just destroy everything, like a massive legacy, which, if that was the artistic, vision, I appreciate very much.
Despite all of this, I think there's a lot that we learn from it. Even people who've played the video games, have read the books. Like, for me, I played Witcher 3, and I'm familiar with the lore, but watching this movie really, refreshed my knowledge about the world and the characters. I appreciate Vizimir so much more in this movie. My heart goes out for this character.
Definitely.
And if you ever play Witcher 3, just get ready, because it just elevates the emotional investment that you have with the series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because from what I understand, because I'm new to the Witcher series, even though I do have the Witcher 3 for the Switch, but I will be playing
soon.
I'll play it soon. So I've been saying this for 2 years now, but soon, one day. But back to the movie. Basically, what I understand is that he is a very, I'd say very serious, very to the point, very precise, very, harsh and very mature. But then here we got a good glimpse of him when he was the opposite, 180 degrees, and what had caused this to happen, what caused the change in nature, and also reminded me of something that back in The Witcher, I remember that in the series, they were talking about how there aren't many Witchers and how rare they are. But then when I was watching the movie, I'm like, there's at least 500 of them. What are they talking about? So it was a very good way of setting up the next season, as perhaps they're going to take Ciri to the same location as the Witchers as they try to train her and prepare her. I'm also going to make sure you guys are prepared for more of our review. We're not done yet. We're going to be talking more about Nightmare of the Wolf coming up next right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Pulse 95.
We are back again with our review of The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, sort of a prequel to the Witcher series, telling the story of Geralt's mentor, Vesemir. We get a glimpse into his life and perhaps the golden age of the Witchers right before their demise, and perhaps the fall of this big legacy, and how Vesemir, okay, this is sort of a tiny spoiler, how Vesemir has to kind of bring it all back up, and it kind of again leads up to the Witcher series. So if you have watched it or have played the game, you probably do know a little bit of things here and there, but this is a good brush up into the history. Now, what is interesting is that, it's like Mikhail said, it does give us a lot of information and whatnot about the world, about the creatures, about some names that are probably going to pop up. There was a lot of emotions, lots of ups and downs throughout it all, some upsetting things about the reality of becoming a Witcher and making that decision. It is not an easy thing, but away from the plot and the story, which both of us believe was very important and very good, let's go on to the animation. It's very interesting to me because when I watched a trailer, at least like a sort of an intro kind of thing, it was a couple of weeks ago, and I did not like the animation at all. And the surprising thing is that it was animated by Studio Mir, and it's one of my favorite studios when it comes to animation. It's a Korean studio. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I'm not sure if you noticed, perhaps around the halfway mark, there was a literal change in the animation. The action scenes were very different halfway through the movie in comparison to the first half of the movie, which is making me wonder, why did they save or at least wait until halfway through the movie for them to change the scenes or make them a lot more dynamic? Even the way that Vesemir and Tetra looked like in those scenes, it was literally like a switch. I noticed that. It was very interesting.
Yeah, for me, the way I saw the quality was serviceable and more quieter moments in the story. But those battle sequences at the end, I think that's where they just went.
See, that's the
complete
thing.
180.
At the end, not even the beginning, because the entire movie had a lot of action scenes. There's lots of sword fights, or you're just beating up people just randomly, as one would in a high fantasy setting. But which I felt was kind of upsetting and sad, because if you put in like a lot of energy into a movie or a series, I think that the animation should be consistent throughout the entire movie. Or
there were
whatever.
elements of CGI, but then at the end we don't see that.
Yes, I mean, actually, I did not even hate the CGI here. It wasn't even jarring. It wasn't problematic, which is great because it's very rare that we see that. More often than not, it is a lot more disappointing than we usually think it is. But at the same time, I was kind of disappointed with the whole switching back and forth between, like Mikhail said, just adequate animation to very good animation. I mean, I always talk about how Legend of Korra had beautiful animation, and it's the same studio that did it. Same goes for Voltron, the Legendary Defender. I mean, they're the same studio. They did very well over there. But then you see this, and I'm like, what is happening here? And it could also be the fact that maybe Netflix is adding or making those studios work a lot, because Studio Mir is one of the several studios that have signed up an exclusive deal with Netflix. So most likely they might have too much on their plate.
Possibly. Despite all of this, I think The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf is a serviceable prequel film that, if you are a fan of the series or the games and you're getting ready for that second season, this will emotionally prepare you for those characters that that are gonna be introduced, especially Vesemir. I cannot wait for this character.
Absolutely, but there's another annoying thing that was happening was the sounds.
Oh.
The background music. There were a lot of times, especially at the beginning of the show, of the movie, and midway, the sounds, the background music would be way, way too high.
I didn't notice
in comparison to the characters talking. I was watching it on my TV, and I could barely hear the characters talking. It wasn't even like too low. It was incredibly low. If it wasn't for the subtitles, I wouldn't have known anything that they were saying.
I think because subtitles, once I have it, I'm kind of good.
No, it was very surprising. It was, something that like a very rookie mistake. It made me wonder, is it my TV? But no, it was just very strange that was happening. It was incredibly low. Like, it would go back to normal in the middle, and then around again when there's lots of music, there's lots of action, I cannot hear anybody talking, and it was just mostly music.
Okay. For me, I don't find that.
You might need to rewatch it, Mikhail.
I might have to look back at those scenes.
It's at the very beginning. That was the
Yeah.
first time it happened, and then somewhere midway. But what is your final verdict?
Final verdict for this prequel is honestly a solid 8. Animation serviceable. The story's really, really fun to watch. I'm surprisingly invested by it. But the biggest issue is that it brushes on a lot of lore and events real quick, just so that the movie doesn't drag on for too much. And because of that, I'm going to stick with an 8 out of 10.
Honestly, I feel like you might be a little bit too generous, in my opinion, because
I'm a super Witcher
I mean,
fan.
I'm a massive fan of The Witcher as well. Maybe you're more like a fan than I am because you're more into the lore and you've played the game and you know it more than me. But I feel like, again, you might be a little bit biased here because I would drop it a point to 7 out of 10 because the only thing that carried the movie was the story. Like, if the story was not intriguing, I would have probably not paid a lot of attention.
That's
because,
fair.
like I said, the animation was kind of lackluster. Very surprising, very disappointing. And that sound thing was kind of, again, felt like a rookie mistake. And I'm hoping it's my TV that's being weird and not Netflix itself and not the movie itself. And like Mikhail said, the fact that they brushed through some parts, I don't want to ruin it too much. I already gave one tiny spoiler. But there were parts in the movie, like there's one specific scene that they literally brushed through it that I had to pause the movie and be like, what just happened here? I'm not too sure what is happening. Is this a team up? Are they going to kill each other? What is happening over here? So again, the thing that gives it a 7 out of 10 is the plot itself. If it wasn't a good, intriguing plot, the movie would have probably been a lot more disappointing. So well done to that. And it's like Mikhail said, it hypes you up for the eventual return of Geralt of the Witcher series very, very soon in the second season. We stick with Netflix and move on to Cowboy Bebop. We finally get some pictures and then some stills, and boy, did it looks really cool. Can't wait to talk about it. Coming up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
This is Pulse 95.
24 hours ago, the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer got leaked, and Sony just went out and started removing, copyrighting every single version of that video that was out on the internet. And Sony film boss Tom Rothman basically acknowledged the leak and said, you guys should be, just try to stay strong and wait for the trailer because you deserve to watch it in its true glory. And I was telling Mikhail last night that we're going to get it within the next 24 hours. And lo and behold.
Yeah,
it
you even
is.
had a theory that it was like a publicity stunt or something.
Honestly, I honestly did not think it was a publicity stunt at all. I think it was somebody who was a little bit too eager. Impatient. And I'm not sure that if it was a coincidence that it coincided with CinemaCon, or maybe that person knew it was going to be coming out around that time. I honestly thought it was either going to be coming out, like, with that leak aside, like way before the leak. I was thinking it was going to come out around a little bit after Shang-Chi came out in theaters worldwide. So I was hoping we'd get something maybe a week or two after it. But people on the internet have been speculating that we are going to get a trailer this week, and lo and behold, we did, and it's been confirmed. We are getting Doc Ock, we're getting Green Goblin.
Oh my god. This is the first trailer in a long time that I've decided not to watch.
Good.
Purely out of principle and out of promise, because my friends want to watch it together on our Thursday little night out.
But you have to close your eyes, I feel like.
I've really tried, but I for example, like I was on Instagram and I saw the Doctor Strange picture with Spider-Man. And then I saw the Doc Ock and even the Green Goblin bomb. And I'm like, okay, you can't avoid it.
But that, I feel like knowing that is inevitable. There is only,
if they show me Tobey Maguire in that trailer.
I think it's not in the trailer and will not be in the trailer. Any of the Spider-Mans are not going to be shown in this, just so they can save something for the actual movie.
Yeah.
Like some sort of surprise beyond the villains. I mean, the villains probably were necessary to show right now, but anything else, not so much. And again, as usual, I have avoided watching the trailer as well because, again, since 2016, strong. I haven't watched a single trailer since then. I've been avoiding every single one of them.
It hurts. I kind of get how you feel right now.
I'm fine with it. I mean, even when it comes to non-Marvel movies, I've just stopped watching trailers.
I get jittery hands. I'm on withdrawal right now.
You can live without them because again, it's a teaser trailer, and again, it is 2.5 minutes long. Why? That's not a teaser. That's an entire summary.
Well, we have our Hind, the overseer. She's watched it for us, really thank you for that favor. She says, "Hi guys, hope you are both well and happy. I'm still a bit out of words after seeing the trailer today. It was much more than I expected from a teaser trailer, but my oh my, it was so surprising, full of Easter eggs. The Green Goblin, Pumpkin Bomb, Doc Ock appearing got me jumping off my chair. I'm really looking forward to this movie now more than ever." And 110% we agree with you, Hind. Oh my God.
I mean, I cannot wait for it either. I was so excited for Shang-Chi because the reviews are out and it got a very high score, from the critics. And it's making me and people have been saying in reviews, they were actually saying that Shang-Chi actually made them excited about the MCU again. And it makes sense because Black Widow was exciting and fun, but it was set kind of behind. It's nothing new. It's something kind of, we're going backwards. We're learning more about a well-beloved character, but that is it. We're kind of setting up some MCU TV shows and movies. So it felt on the same level as the MCU shows, which honestly, they're great in their own terms and their own rights. They're very good, but from the perspective of something as big as Shang-Chi, The Eternals, and Spider-Man, boy, the second half of this year is just going to get more and more exciting. And we're also probably going to get Hawkeye and Hawkgirl very soon as well. Maybe Miss Marvel as well. Again, we're eating good. Marvel fans are eating really, really good.
Definitely. It's weird to see that anything that's Marvel is overshadowed by it with more Marvel,
Absolutely. It's like when we first got WandaVision, we were excited, and then Falcon, I'm going to say Captain Soldier, goodness, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier, Loki. What If, which we're going to be reviewing as well this week, by the end of the week, is just more excited and more excitement. Guys, share your excitement with us for 215 Salat or do. Cannot wait to see Doctor Strange in a sweater. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about the Candyman that is going to be coming out this week in the UAE. If you want to see the final trailer, though, you have to do something a little bit special. Coming up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
This is Pulse 95.
I'm sure once in your life you've asked a question, or at least you've demanded, show me a sign. And I feel this is one of those situations specifically for Aisha.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense where, please, if there was ever a professional tournament for Stardew Valley or a game similar to it, please show me a sign. And lo and behold, the creator of Stardew Valley himself has announced the Stardew Valley Cup. It's going to start on September 4th with a prize pool of $40,000.
That is amazing. I mean, first of all, what is interesting about it is that it's going to be completely based, obviously, on skills and things that you can do in Stardew Valley, which is, typical. But you might be asking, what can he do in Stardew Valley? Well, exactly what you can do in any farm simulation game. There are so many things you can do. I mean, one of the tasks that you can do is apparently reaching floor 100 in a cavern or completing tasks at the community center. So it feels mellow, but there is a sense of competition. Because what people don't understand about those games like Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons, and even when it comes to Stardew Valley, because basically, if you think about farm simulation games, there's only two of them, and those are the two. They are very much goal-based. You need to continue with the task after task, and it does require a certain rhythm. It does require certain things, certain skills and ways of thinking to overcome them. So it's very interesting that the creator of Stardew Valley just kind of had this bright idea of going you know what? Let's do this. And what I love about it is that it's going to be a group thing. It is not just one single player playing. And the interesting thing is the names of the teams. You've got Sandy's Candies, Pierre's Cherries, Pam's Yams, and Krobus's Crocuses.
Okay,
I love them.
it's so cute.
It's amazing.
What's also interesting is that each of the teams are being granted at least 2 weeks period to view the list of challenges and tasks that are going to be in the tournament so that they can strategize accordingly, even create contingency plans to these tasks. And I can tell from right now, this is going to be like a micro-managing clash.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be insane because I know people have been playing this game ongoing for years and years and years, and it's that sort of game. I feel like even if you play Story of Seasons, Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, even The Sims, because people tend to put them together even though they have differences. But those type of games are the games you kind of revisit every once in a while. They're long lasting. There's so many things you can do in them. So for somebody to capitalize on it and take those people who have been playing it for so long and be like, there's competition here. We can turn it into something different.
And the entertainment value. I can imagine a commentator going, it's like, look how fast he's cultivating that cabbage. Oh my God, how do you get the manure for that? Something like that. World record.
Absolutely. It's going to be so exciting. Definitely. We need to watch it. It's going to be happening very soon in September. I believe it is happening on the 4th of September. So it's not that far away. Looking forward to watching it and look forward to the way we wrap up the hour. That is the afternoon cut. Obviously, we do with a suggestion, but it's always a good and important suggestion, especially if it's coming from Mikhail. Coming up next, right here on the afternoon cut.
Pulse 95. It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak.
For dessert?
Aisha and Mikhail suggest...
We always give you a whole variety, an array of suggestions and ideas for you to pursue and think about. But one of our main ones, most important one, is to always check out our podcast that gets uploaded a little bit after the show. Check us out wherever you listen to podcasts, and that includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Rami, and SoundCloud. Just search up Afternoon Karak, and you will find us there, and you will never miss out on any of our conversations. You can also find us on our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio. Like, subscribe, and comment. You can check us out and also the other shows. And now we move on to a very important PSA from Mikhail.
Okay, so my suggestion is very simple, and I think it's also very important. You don't want to make this mistake. And basically is, I'm sure you all have like a shelf, an area where you have all these supplements and medication and...
A medicine cabinet.
Medicine cabinet. Mm-hmm. My suggestion is please check the expiration labels, the dates for pill bottles, supplements of any kind, and make sure to replace them or restock them. You don't want to be taking expired medicine. I don't know what the side effects for that is. A few days back, I wanted to take some aspirin, and I was really close to taking it. Then I just looked at the bottle. I'm like, I gotta replace this.
Especially when you're in a lot of pain and you reach over to your salvation. That is that bottle of, I don't know, ibuprofen or Panadol, etc. Some kind of pain relief. You look at the back, and you find that it expired a couple of months ago or even a year ago, and you just completely forgot about it. It's gonna come back, and it's not gonna be pleasant at all. So just in case you fall into this issue where you are in need of pain medication really, really badly, or just obviously for preventive measures, you do not want to be taking any sort of expired medicine or supplement in the first place.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry. So make sure you change up your medicine and get some new ones, some brand new ones, and stay safe. We also ask you very kindly to stay tuned to Yalla Home, because Big House is going to be taking over the airwaves right here in Sharjah, exclusively here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.